Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'm here to make a little outfit for this tiny bunny and just spend some time with you, thinking, talking, the things we all love. First of all, a few words about this little Amigurumi bunny's life story. As you can probably tell, this bunny has already been used as a keychain. The pattern for this cute little fella I've found on Pinterest. And I'll try my best to find the original author and leave the links in the description. I believe it's free. If not, that's really not okay. By the way, I've also made an amigurumi turtle. Actually, two. If you have ever searched for tutorials on YouTube, you have probably seen the one I used. I'll leave the link in the description as usual. It's easy, fairly quick. Since this yarn is a bit thinner than the white one, I think the shell looks slightly smaller than it probably should. The second turtle actually has a shell made from this same purple yarn. Instead of safety eyes, I used beads. I attached the keychain to the front flipper, like this. So I've already gone through most of the tutorials I really wanted to try. Maybe you can recommend something interesting? Oh, I've also seen those little coasters that turn into flower bouquet. They look really cute. Maybe I should try them too. This purple yarn is such a beautiful bright shade. It contrasts really nicely with the bunny. For some reason today I don't feel like overcomplicating things. Counting, planning. I just want to make everything in one go using a single strand directly on the bunny. Even though it's soft and not very tightly stuffed, and technically I could dress it separately, but I don't want to risk it. Today I choose minimal risk, maximum enjoyment. So grab something to do while you watch, maybe something nice to snack on, or don't grab anything at all and just be here with me and let's start. Of course I didn't follow the pattern strictly, and don't tell me you never do that. Sometimes I make things that end up being completely one of a kind. So much so that even I wouldn't be able to recreate them again. Unless it's something completely new to me, where one step to the left or right would just mean getting completely lost in the process. And yes, I think I've found my own kind of zen in making small crochet keychain toys. And I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. After all, I did say that it's completely normal to forget about your other hobbies for a while when you're focused on one thing for a longer period of time. And I still stand by that. I'll probably tie these ears together at the top like that, so they don't get in the way. There is actually a little spoiler for you about me switching hobbies. Recently, I bought a diamond painting kit. So in one of the next episodes, I'll be trying diamond art for the very first time, which I'm really excited about. I've been meaning to try diamond art for quite a while now. Just kind of looking into it. I do have some experience with paint by numbers, which might seem a bit similar. And honestly, I've done so many of those that I have run out of wall space to hang them. But I'm trying not to set my expectations too high. This will be my very first time, and I'm not even sure about the quality of the kit I got. Of course, I didn't want to invest too much into something I'm only just trying and might not even like. By the way, I did the exact opposite with clay. I bought every possible tool long before I even touched clay for the first time. But anyway, I'm determined to enjoy the process, even if nothing turns out the way I expect. And that's actually what I wanted to talk about today, about this constant pressure from the outside and from within ourselves. These high expectations we place on what we do. By the way, I also made a similar bunny before, a little bigger, using plush yarn for a gift. It was actually really quick. I made it in just one evening and I've already given it away. I will try to add a photo somewhere here. It should still be on my phone. That bigger bunny barely had anything in common with the original pattern. I'm not even sure I could recreate it again. I had to adjust almost every part just to keep it from turning out huge and to make sure I didn't run out of yarn, which I almost did. I only had one skein, 100 grams, and by the end there was barely anything left. I decreased the number of chains in almost every part because it was turning out way too big. Unlike what I'm doing today, the dress for a bunny was part of the body itself, again mostly to save yarn. The plan was to use exactly one skein, no more, no less. But today I decided to dress this little bunny up a bit. Maybe it's the skin tone color, maybe the simplicity, maybe the lack of texture, I don't know, but it feels a bit plain to me, a bit faceless. Or maybe I just really enjoy making small cute things. Anyway, I've been wanting to make an amigurumi piece with a skirt or a little dress with ruffles. Sometimes I think about how much work it must be to create patterns. People who write them probably redo the same piece multiple times. It's one thing to make something and a completely different thing to explain it clearly so others can follow. I think the stitch count here might be a bit uneven. But if it's not visible, why worry? Even if something doesn't match perfectly, that was the plan. I planned for it not to be perfect. I planned to enjoy it. And even if nothing worked out, I would just redo it. That's how it goes sometimes. You go online looking for something, and suddenly you're being judged. This looks a bit like a life jacket. If it were bright orange or red, a rescue bunny. 10 things you're doing wrong. 5 mistakes in your resume. Split ends? Do this. Want better hair? Do that. Do these exercises for a better body. Eat this to lose weight. Do this meditation to find love, because you're still single, and being single is bad, right? Here are 5 movies you must watch. 10 books you must read before 30. Feed your pet this, not that, because that one is terrible, and this one is perfect. Oh my God. Excuse me, but when am I supposed to just live and enjoy my life? You see, we're doing everything wrong these days. And it starts to feel like we owe something to everyone. To be slimmer, to smell like this perfume, to wear makeup, to go to the gym, to go out more, to be more feminine, to be more masculine, to dress better, to look like someone else. Like celebrities, singers, actors, models. We had to throw away perfectly good jeans just because they are not in fashion anymore. It's ridiculous and absurd. And after all this pressure from everywhere, we start living with this guilt. A guilt that was never ours to begin with. You wake up, haven't even gotten out of bed yet, and somehow you've already done 20 things wrong. Someone will tell you you're even breathing wrong, walking wrong, living wrong. Of course, I understand everyone is fighting for our attention, and the more provocative and controversial the title is, the more likely it is to be noticed, clicked on, and watched. Speaking of fighting for our attention, have you noticed how aggressively some movies are promoted these days? It starts to feel like everyone around you is talking about the same film, like it's everywhere. That kind of heavy, almost intrusive marketing. And then, without even realizing it, you start to believe that the movie must be good, or at least worth watching, simply because it's popular. Because people are talking about it. So, I actually have a little movie recommendation for you. Recently, I watched a series that I think is definitely worth your attention. It's Untamed, a crime drama series on Netflix. In case you haven't seen it, of course, and if you enjoy the genre. I hadn't even heard of it before watching it. It's relatively new from 2025, and it stars Eric Bana, the same actor from the other Berlin Girl and Troy. Honestly, I can hardly imagine a continuation for this series. In my opinion, it doesn't need one. The landscapes there are just incredibly beautiful, and yes, I googled it again, and it turns out it was filmed in Yosemite National Park, California. It's a real place. It actually exists. Yosemite Falls, the waterfall, looks absolutely stunning. At first I thought it might be somewhere in Australia or something. Almost every episode I found myself saying, "Wow, this is so beautiful. Does a place like this really exist? People actually live there? They're so lucky." I always imagine the air there must be incredibly clean. Yeah, big city girl thoughts. Okay, let's get back to our main topic. All this external pressure creates new insecurities and fears in us. It plants these little seeds and they keep growing even if the outside pressure disappears. And you become afraid to start anything because even before you begin, you already feel judged, either by others or by yourself. And if you do find the courage to start, there will almost always be at least one person who tells you that you're doing it wrong. So here's the solution. Do it wrong. Do something badly, on purpose. I want you to get used to doing things imperfectly. Because if you do something wrong, it might still turn out good. And if it doesn't, at least you'll know that you tried. But when you try to do everything perfectly, you fall into the trap of perfectionism, and it's very hard to get out of that. I genuinely believe that everything is a skill, like social interaction, relationships, willpower, this whole process of trying, failing, and trying again, all of it. Even having fun is a skill. It's almost like a kind of medicine against perfectionism. You just have to start having fun. Why so serious? Give yourself permission to be silly. Sometimes. To mess around. To actually enjoy that state. Allow yourself to do just one small thing wrong in your life. Isn't that kind of fun? Let your hobby be the one place where you are allowed to fail, so that you can feel what it's like to be allowed to fail. And the more you do it, the more freedom you start to feel. Not just in your hobby, but in your life overall. I think children discover what they love in exactly this way. They try things. They play, they mess around. They do things just for fun. And that's how they understand what they like and what they don't. When we grow up, we'll lose that ability. Not everyone, but most of us. It's similar to what happens when you distance yourself from people. If you avoid social situations, parties, crowded places, over time you start to feel disconnected. You lose that sense of ease. You lose the skill of talking to people and feeling comfortable around them. I had a period in my life when I was basically forced to communicate with people. And for me, it was uncomfortable. It felt like a struggle. But at some point, I realized that the more I do it, the more familiar it became. And slowly, it started to feel easier. Of course, I was getting paid for it, which helped. But it works a lot like deadlines do. Just a little push, a little effort. Of course, some people have a natural talent for certain things, like communication. If you're more extroverted, if you enjoy meeting new people and talking to them. But even if you're not, it doesn't mean you're doomed. It just means you might need more practice. If you want it, or if you need it for some reason. But don't force yourself to do something just because someone told you that you're bad at it. Or that you should be more talkative, more social, more outgoing. Yes, you can practice if you want to. For example, there are people who challenge themselves to go on 100 or even 1,000 dates in a year. They do it because they struggle with communication or relationships. And by doing it repeatedly, they slowly overcome that fear. It becomes something familiar. But I would only recommend doing something like that, pushing yourself. If it's truly your own desire, not something that was planted in you by someone else, not something that came from insecurity or pressure, not because someone made you feel like you're not enough as you are. Only if it genuinely bothers you. Only if it interferes with your life. And no, I'm not talking specifically about dating. Because being single is okay. Just a side note. You know, I feel like something is missing. Some small detail. Something to balance it out. Maybe a belt, but in a contrasting color. The skirt kind of looks like a ballerina's. I just hope it won't stay like this all the time. Okay, give yourself space, even a tiny space in your life, where you're allowed to be bad at something, to try, to experiment, to do something simply because it brings you joy. A space where you're allowed to make mistakes, to be imperfect. By the way, a new hobby is actually perfect for this. For example, dancing. It is a great way to release energy. It's good for your heart too. And yes, I know, this already sounds like advice again. Do this, do that. So here's the opposite. Don't do anything. I allow you to do nothing. You don't owe anything to anyone. That's the most important thing. This whole hustle culture just makes people anxious. But dancing is actually fun. A lot of people don't start dancing because they think it has to be professional. But people at parties don't think about it. Maybe because they're drunk, but still. Of course, if someone dreams of becoming a professional dancer, that's a different story. But why not dance just because you like it? You don't have to sign up for a class. You don't have to record yourself. You don't have to post it anywhere. You don't even have to show it to anyone. No one has to know. That's your territory. You can do it alone. Just turn on music and move. Not perfectly, not beautifully, not attractively, not skillfully. Let it be awkward. Let it be your space to be silly and to be free. A space where there are no expectations, no judgment, no need for approval. Your little secret, a space that exists because of you and only for you. And maybe through that, you'll start to feel that you can do things for yourself, not for others, not for validation, not following a tutorial, not following a script. So, I wish you to allow yourself to fail and to feel what it's like to be free to do something wrong. If it flops, you still did it. Good job. And remember, you can always say that it was exactly the plan. Until next time. Okay, look, I found a thin satin ribbon. You know, the kind you keep from packaging, candles, candle kits, sweets, some gifts. I probably saved it years ago as decoration and forgot about it. Well, this is its moment. Anyway, I threaded it through like a belt, and voila. I love this keychain base. You can easily switch toys without redoing anything. Just unclip one, attach another, and that's it. I didn't even buy it, by the way. I just took it off another toy. Of course, I need to shorten it a bit. The white color really complements the purple. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It looks so much better with the dress.